Hello, hello.
I can breathe now, I think. I nearly was struggling making it on time today because of the time change.
Anybody else hurting because of the time change?
Well, the time didn't change for me, time changed for you, but I'm hurting because it's 5 hours difference now, so it's not 7 here, it's 6.
So you lost an hour
But,
essentially.
I think time changes here in 2 weeks. Hello, everyone. Hey, Denise. Hi, guys.
Gabriola. Where is Gabriola? From Rainy Gabriola. Where's that? Welcome, everybody. So today is Tuesday, and Han is in the hot seat for today's episode of Cookie Lunch Break.
It's very, very hot here. Okay, guys, so should I jump right in?
I guess, sure. I mean, you guys are welcome. If you're new to the live, you can ask your questions. Just pop them in. I read them.
Okay, hold on. I have to adjust this. So
Heather's also feeling the time change.
don't get me started. Yeah, I don't understand why they have to change.
I remember when the kids were little, they have their internal clock, and so that can be quite painful when they're getting up an hour before 6 a.m.
So hello. So today I'm doing a project that requires some cutting of parchment strips. So you can use a striped sheet of paper, but if you want to have a specific, so if you want a specific width of your strips, like I did, these are about 1/4 inch, 5 millimeters. So 1/4 inch is about 6 millimeters. So about there. So I decided to make a template. And then I have these parchment sheets. Let me back up here. You can see my mess here. So I folded it, right? So this is a full length. And then
Can I ask you, because parchment paper tends to come in a roll. So do you get flat sheets? Because I see they're not curled.
Yeah, this is a flat sheet. Yes, this is a flat sheet. Actually, it's from, I don't know if June is here. It's from my friend June. Years ago, she had given me a parchment. I would recommend using a flat sheet for this. Wax paper, I don't think it comes flat. I think wax paper comes in a roll. Parchment.
The roll in parchment paper is very difficult to get out.
Yes.
Curves.
Yes, the roll wouldn't really work for this. You really need to get the straight sheet, like not straight sheet. Oh my goodness, what am I talking about?
Flat ones.
Flat ones, yeah, pre-cut sheets, and they are easily sourced out. I mean, you can find them at specialty stores and online. They have them. I get them online these days, and they come in a bag of 100 or 200 or more. So now I'm using X-Acto knife, cutting through. You can see I'm not cutting all the way through. Oops. And underneath there, I have a piece of, this is a, cutting board to protect my work surface. So I'm cutting through 4 pieces, okay? I think I should have enough for the project today. Let me see if I can cut.
So is today an experiment?
Today was, somebody was asking about our inspiration. So maybe I should say that today's project is inspired by modern Easter eggs that I saw online. So I decided to do a bit of a test. And as you saw, modern Easter, yeah, I think it actually worked. It's kind of neat. So just bear with me because I didn't really have time to cut more of these this morning. So I'll cut them. I think I'm done. Should be fine. So now I'm just going to cut.
So do you use that same blade when you're cutting your templates out of cardstock?
Yes. Well, I have purchased replacements. You can. This is a new blade actually. Actually, these are pretty cheap here. So it comes off like that, and then this is pretty sharp. So just be careful. You can see there's a mechanism inside, so you can secure it in there, and then twist it.
Perfect.
Right, if I can get it tight. Okay, and then always make sure that you put a cap on because this is pretty sharp. Okay, so finally we can get this out. And now I'm going to find my scissors. Sorry. Oh, there we go. So I didn't cut all the way through. And now I'm going to cut through with my scissors like this, so we have individual strips, okay? Oh, I forgot to take the paper out. Now you could, what I also tried, I tried making the template directly on the parchment, but then you're stuck with the pencil marks, and those actually, they transfer on royal icing. So if you put the parchment pencil mark side down on royal icing and it dries, it transfers, so you don't want that. So that's why I decided to do it this way.
Do you have a healing board?
No, is that the one? They do have them here.
Yeah, they're usually green, what I've seen. And the thing is the ruler is kind of printed on it, so you wouldn't need that sheet in the back.
Oh, yeah? I have to look. I think I did see it. It's usually for the crafts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, you have all of these strips. Now, if you want to get a little fancy, you can, and we'll see how this works because I haven't seen the result with this one. So this is made with these craft scissors, but it's a pain kind of to make a lot of these. So I made only a few. All right, so now onto the decorating. So these are Easter eggs I'm going to be making. Good morning.
Hi, Jennifer.
Let me see. So I'll do purple, I'll do pink, blue, and black.
Diane is working on a modern Easter egg design today.
Yes. So I have a nice spring palette here. I'm going to be doing pink, blue, and black. I really hope you guys like this. This is really fun. So we're going to start by, oh, serious question, Samar. Maybe you can answer. How do you take your coffee?
How do I take my coffee? I take my coffee with soy milk, vanilla flavored soy milk.
Soy milk.
Or is it oat milk? It's I think it might be Silk. It's called Silk.
Yes.
It's vanilla flavored.
Yes, I remember that brand.
What about you, Jennifer? How do you take your coffee?
Do you drink more than 1 cup a day, Mark?
Generally, no. I'll usually have 1 coffee, and then if I do feel like another warm beverage later in the day, I'll have a tea, an herbal tea.
So you oh, my bag just burst. Oh,
cool.
So is it in the morning?
Yes, first thing.
Yeah, first thing in the morning. Would you say you can function without it?
I think I could survive, but I do enjoy it. I like the taste of it, and I look like in the morning, I'm like, oh, you get used to. We have our little routines. I do like the routine of going down.
But I'm gonna just cut through your talking. So now, while this is where we have to put the strips down. Okay, so you can create any kind of design you want. It's really fun. I was trying to create triangular shapes as much as possible. And you want the strips to be 3 cups. You want the strips to be overlapping the cookie, because you want to be able to pull the parchment off once it dries. Let's do 1 more here. Okay. Now make sure that the parchment is sticking to the royal icing. Okay, also on the edges, just push it down a little. And I'm going to do a fun design. So I'm going to start here with blue. You can see I'm piping, overlapping, slightly overlapping the strip of parchment.
They kind of look like mummies.
What does?
All the paper, you know, when you wrap a mummy.
Oh yeah, that's true. It does. And now with black, anyone recognizes this pattern?
Anybody can spot what she's doing in that little area. So you're sectioning off your wet icing.
Now basically we can add some design onto the sections, into the sections, and the border allows you to create have a straight edge.
Hello, Mary Jean.
So once it's done, you'll see, once we pull off the parchment, you'll see the effect, okay?
Is this your own creation, this idea?
Yes. Can you see the smoke out of my head, coming out of my head?
That's right, it's a leopard print.
Yes. So now we're going to use black. And I was looking for different modern patterns. I really like linear patterns. So this was one that was coming up a lot. It's basically just a bunch of lines overlapping, no thought here whatsoever. And you can see it sinking into this section. And then we're going to do one that is over here at the top, and I'll do some dots.
I don't think it's on Patreon yet, is it, Han?
No, this is not on Patreon yet. No, I really literally made this. I started yesterday and then I finished this morning because these have to dry for several hours. Because you don't want.
I hope it's going well.
Kim.
It's an adventure. Not all adventures are fun, but we have to undertake them.
So at this point, because you can see there is a bunch of papers just overlapping, and it creates a problem with drying. You would need excess space. So I'm just going to. You want to carefully trim it. And then we have to let this dry. I'm going to do a couple designs and then we'll show you what it looks like once it's done, okay?
No, it's parchment paper, Maria. It's not a rice paper. She's going to take it off before it's eaten. Hi, Julie.
Okay. So this is first design. Now these are all pretty, they are quite similar, I have to say, but I'm going to do one that you guys might enjoy. It's dipping. It will give you an idea what you can also do with this. You could dip your cookies. So we're going to, oh, did I not bring my white? I guess not. I guess we are not doing dipping.
Is it far?
I don't think I have it mixed. Let me just, I'll just show you the finished dipping once. Okay. Now you can also do 2 colors or even 3 colors. Make it modern or like when it's flooded, and then we can add the strips. So what colors do you guys like together? I have pink.
Yeah, put what you have so we can see it.
I have these colors, so we can work with these.
Okay, so guys, let us know what
colors. Let's do 2 colors. So my preference is these 2, or yellow and purple, or blue and. So which color? First one posting, I'm going to go with that.
First one to post 2 colors. Come on. Well, we're very glad to hear
that wasn't my choice, but okay.
You're fighting, Kim. Our thoughts are with you.
Yes, Kim.
So first was Gail. She wants to see purple and green. She's feeling maybe a Halloween Easter.
Yes, I think that's a bit Halloweenish, right? So purple and green. All right. So let's do
Gail
that.
was also purple. Oh, she did it 2 times. She's a fast typer. Hello.
Where are you? Are you typing on Facebook or YouTube?
Hello, Anne.
So.
Hi, Angie.
Okay. So let's do it. So I'm going to basically divide this into 2 sections.
So is this a 15-second, you'd say?
Yes, 15 to actually it may be even a bit more runnier, but about, yeah, 10 to 15, somewhere around there.
So for those of you that are new to cookie decorating, when you hear seconds to describe icing, it's the amount of time that it takes for the icing to self-level after you've kind of piped it onto a surface.
Notice I'm not using my regular metal scribe. The reason behind it is we have to, with this design, not that you have to be super, super fast, but you don't want your icing to start crusting. So thicker scribe allows me to move the icing faster. And the scribe I used is a 2-in-1 tool. Actually, if you look in my, not today's supply list, but supply list from last Friday in my coffee shop, I have listed a smaller cookie scraper tool. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. So you can also use that because it has a similar thickness.
If you guys missed last Tuesdays, here, let me add a picture of it. Han did a great project on Tuesday. What is it? Friday. I'm switching it up. We are Tuesday, so it was Friday. I'll put it up in a second. I'm loading it.
Friday, yes. What did I do?
You did this. I'm just going to pop it on quickly. These beautiful leaves and the cross.
So now I'm going to use my, remember the one I showed you? That
the zigzaggy one.
Yeah, so this is with a little bit of a wave, but you'll see immediately what happens. So I'm just going to put it like this. And it's going to start curling up a little bit. So it's an interesting thing. I mean, if you wanted to create like a, like a curved.
Well, maybe like water,
like a river or whatever.
Yeah, like a beach, maybe a beach cookie.
So that would probably work for that. Now I have not tested this one, so we'll see how that works. Now I'm just placing these on. You can see they're not sticking because this parchment is preventing them from to stick. So you have to go in with your tool.
A little cookie surgery.
Obviously, it's not going to stick to the parchment because there's no moisture there. So you can see there's a gap there. That's normal. And let's do here. I find placing these strips is so fun. So fun. Okay, do I go here? Okay. All right. And now I'm going to decorate. So let's do here. We're going to do some circles. Oops. You could do some things. You could do roses on these. You could do filigree. Like I said, I'm going with more of a modern feel. So.
I'm looking at. Wonder if you had your icing in a dish and you dipped your little strip of parchment paper in the other color and then laid it out on. You know?
Oh, that could work. There's only one way to find out, right?
Oil icing is a crazy thing, really.
Yes. So now, the popular feathering, so we can do that here as well. So piping just long, thin.
Oh, this is a fun project to try all the different types of wet-on-wet designs, right?
I'm going to use my scribe, my metal scribe, okay? So we're going to...
Yes, you do have to work somewhat quickly. Drive carefully, June.
Yes, June. Now you don't want to be too rough with this. You don't want to move the parchment paper. You can see I'm going pretty slow here.
I think so, Sally.
And also, reminder, we have a mini class coming up, guys.
Oh, let me pop up the picture. So here is the picture. This is the mini class project.
That's on March 25th.
So yesterday, was it yesterday that you released the prep information?
I think so. Why?
I'm just
Just okay.
remembering.
I can't remember anything. Today actually we have, there's a sandstorm.
Really?
Yes. Well, from Sahara, from the desert. And it's going to be on for about 3 days.
Really?
The fine dust, it's everywhere.
That's crazy.
And what's even crazier that this fine dust, it travels 2,000 kilometers or more probably, because my parents will have remnants of it.
Really? So it hits all of that area. So I'm sorry, Heather, I have no idea what GBBO is. Is that like some sort of like reality show?
Okay, so now again I'm going to trim. Yes, cannot see the sky exactly. It's very like it just really surreal. I mean, it happens maybe 3-4 times a year. It's quite messy and dirty, but
Yeah, it makes a mess in your pool, if I remember.
yes, the pool. Yes, the pool. Yes, now we know what to do with the pool when that happens, because with the fine dust like that, it doesn't go. I mean, it just goes through the filter. It doesn't get, so you have to use something that is going to coagulate the dust and make it into clumps so you can then pick it up. So this is another design.
Ah,
And
a great British baking show.
did I use white? Let me just see if we can do marbling with different colors. Maybe we can use yellow. What do you guys
Hi,
think?
Camille.
Maybe we can use yellow, although I really, really like the white. Let's see.
So you're gonna put your icing in your bead tray?
Yes, I am. So which color? I'm doing yellow and pink.
Sure.
I was going to do white. Oh, Great British Bake Off. I have watched couple. Oops. Oh, that was just, I felt my bag burst. So let's do pink. Oh, this is the one that is leaking. See how it's leaking from the seam? Yeah, these bags are not, this is the latest batch I bought, and not very happy with these.
Oh, no.
No.
Where did you order from?
Amazon. But these are not the ones I have listed. I have listed in my Amazon shop. I will list those.
Oh, I think that suppliers in the States and suppliers in Europe are probably different, right?
Yes. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen here. Now I do have a smaller cookie for this one. Okay, so I'm dropping it in. Normally I do this in a bowl. Just going to wiggle it and then give it a little twist. And then lift it up. Lift it, drop, rip a bit. Oh yes, so yes, it is. It calls blood rain, red rain with the dust.
That's interesting as well.
So let me just this. There was a little bit of a.
That almost looks like a tropical sunset.
Yes, it does. So now what you can do the same thing, right, with the strips. Now these, because this is a smaller egg, I'm going to cut these in half.
So Gail, you have to keep on adding color. You keep on piping in the bowl and adding to it when your colors are
I
getting
did it in a little tray, but bowl, if you're making a lot of these, it's probably better option than a tray. Or you can also use a small plate or something like that. Oh, there's strips. Okay.
It did come out very pretty.
Okay, again, you want to press these down so they are not lifted. Okay. Now we can again do some designs with the black.
Cynthia, that's a bummer. I also had a thing canceled on me. But at $30, I think it's a pretty okay deal as well. It was listed, I think, initially when they first launched it, like $150. So at 30 is pretty reasonable. And the Archon mount is like $100. So it's pretty good.
Blue. Blue will look here. So let's do.
So it was the same consistency you said, like
yes,
15, 20?
Yes, they're all the same. Yes.
So the dipping is her same icing. She just made a bigger hole in her piping bag.
And again, I'm going to leopard here.
So will you be peeling back the paper in front of our wonderful audience here? Because Sally's dying to see.
Yes, it's exciting. I had so much fun peeling it. This morning I was like, oh, this is so fun. Yes, I think it's the most, like, it just, it just reveals the design and it's really fun. Yes, we will, oops, I will show that in a second. But we will also do, once it dries, remember, you can always, once it dries, add more details. You could use your markers. You could use edible paint. I'm going to use gold luster dust. Oh, you want a teaser? No.
So Alana, parchment paper, once the royal icing dries, the parchment paper releases very easily, actually. So Hannah she experimented. Sometimes we do that. It's just a little icing experiment, and she's sharing it with everyone. And sometimes these experiments will birth a new idea that you guys will see this and say, oh, I could maybe do something. And it's through, just trying things. And
I was thinking this would be something if you could cut or have someone cut like bones or something or something you could make like or I don't know, not bones but like fossils or something. You could put parchment down and then if you remove it, I don't know. Maybe it's a silly idea. So what I found, because I tried to use different designs on one egg, and I found that the most effective was when I used either the same design or maybe two or three was like, too much. I found like it was too busy. But I'll show you the eggs that I made so you can see for yourself. Okay, and we're going to, or should I add? I'm gonna add some lines here. Just straight lines.
it is still wet, Eve. It is still wet.
Oh yes, this is wet. You want this to be wet because you need this to sink in. So and if it's giving you a bit of a hard time, you can give it a little tap. Now again, I'm gonna trim these long ones. And you could possibly, if you're working on smaller cookies, you could probably save these, but I'm just gonna toast them. So I'm gonna set this aside and, okay, so who is ready for some painting? So I've got this is dry, okay? So I'm going to use gold. This is Glamorous Gold, or let's use this one. This is Champagne. This is also very nice. Now, the only thing is, because I didn't use, how we always tell you to use like an ivory or brown icing when you're painting with gold luster dust, because it gives you better coverage. Now, with this, obviously, I'm not able to do that, but you'll see it will create a really cool effect. So I'm just gonna add a few drops into my palette here. And you can get these palettes at craft stores. They come in different sizes. And now I'm going to use my brush here. And this is edible paint, decorative cake paint by Sweet Sticks. So let's paint this one. This one is going to give us some interesting design there once it's peeled. You can see it's just giving it nice gold layer, but it's not fully covering the purple. Okay, let's do one here.
So this, because the parchment paper strip is embedded in the icing, you're going to have a really like tight seam, right?
Yes. What you could also do at this point, you could add texture. You could add, and I'm going to use purple icing, and we'll add some texture, or you could use slightly maybe a lighter purple or darker purple to give it a more like a dramatic look if you wanted to. Okay. So here is another one. I'm going to do gold here. And in a second, I'll show you the marbled ones. So I'll do one here. And like I said, you could do markers. With a marker, you could even maybe write letters or a little, text on there. So I've got some here, and these are marbled. See, I was really playing with different, different designs here. I made these earlier today in the morning. You have to paint overlapping the parchment a little bit, so don't be afraid of that because parchment is going to protect your icing. It's not going to go through. That way you'll get a really nice straight edge. Okay, let's do this one. On this one, I find it hard to actually spot the parchment because it's kind of white. There's not a whole lot of color. I'll do this one.
Heather's asking if a second coating of the gold would help for opacity.
I think so, but you'll see, I don't think you really kind of need it. I think it would. I think it definitely would, but you have to let it.
That Sweet Sticks stuff is very expensive.
Expensive, yes, but it does. You'll see in a second. So now I'm going to add texture on this one, on the purple one, just to show you what.
Yeah, silver would look nice. So yeah, the texture. You're going to use.
You could actually do texture, even.
You can't really do the breaking because if you break, you'll break next to it.
Yes. Right. The breaking is not going to the texture. I meant just very, like when you do the. And then we can spread it. And I could do. Like a little.
I guess you could sprinkle sanding sugar too if you wanted.
I have tried that. It doesn't really work well with this step. I tried it on a cookie. Let me grab it.
And it wasn't.
I use no pearls. I added these. I don't know how this is gonna look. We'll see. I added these while this was all wet. It was a little painful too.
Positional.
Because you have to be careful because it falls. It's like
yes.
It falls on the other sections, and those are also wet. But we'll see how it looks once we peel that off. Okay. So who is ready?
So the unveiling now.
Should I do it so now? But you get the idea, right? So now the trick is to find the last one.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Right, the last one. Please don't try to pull like any of them because you're gonna have a hard time. So the last one here was this one. Okay, and then it was, I believe it was this one. And then there. There's a little bit of mess on the parchment. That's the icing that you are taking off. Now let's see with this one, what's going to happen. Okay, this is not too bad. I have to say I'm not a fan of this edge because it doesn't really show. I would have to paint with black or something around there. Like the gold, it would show the gold, but this is not my favorite. Let's see with this one. Where are we? Maybe I can use marker. Let's see if I can use marker. Do it. Yes. Let's do, this is a marker. I don't know if you guys seen this. This is a food pen black marker from Fun Cakes. And it has a really fine tip here. So what do I do? Do I,
I mean, just color it in, make it black, in my
oh,
mind.
oh, we can try that. Not a bad idea. Let's do that. Try to see what happens. So many possibilities, right?
Yeah.
You could even, like, if you have a little stencil, I suppose if the opening is big enough, you could stencil.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I think this is the last one. Oh, I love it when the edge is straight. It's like painting, you know? And you
Yes.
do
So yes, she did wait for everything to dry before pulling off those.
yes, you have to wait for it to dry. And now there is some, icing here sticking, so I'm just going to use my tool here.
The gold might be a little tacky still.
Yes, the gold is, and even black is not black that I painted. So you can really play with different. Okay, I do have these ones, so let's see what these look like.
So after you lay down the strips and the icing is still wet, I would actually shoot it with that color, pink, let's say a little darker airbrush. So then you can still do the wet on wet. And I think your stripes that you're creating would pop even more.
Yeah, would probably pop more. Like if you don't have a design next to it, next to the stripe, it's kind of like, okay, what are you doing? So yeah, oops.
So that's why I'm saying, so if you airbrush it, then automatically you'd get like a darker pigment.
Yes. If you don't have an airbrush, then I guess I still think it's pretty cool because I like the edges. You won't be able to create those edges without some kind of a template or guide. But we have here, I've got here another one that you paint with gold. So let's do some gold application first. Let me see. I'm going to paint all of them to see what's going to happen.
So if you have kids, I guess you could use white icing, put the little paper on, let it dry overnight, and then give them markers on day 2.
Yes, and they could help with the replacing the paper also. And you could make
depending
this
on their age.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, you do have to be somewhat gentle with it. You can't just push it in.
Yes.
You just lay it on top and it kind of sticks to it.
You like the purple, Gwen? Very nice.
Now, the problem is now that I'm pulling it, and you do have still gold, the remnants of icing, as they are flying off, as we are taking them off. Too fat if you're too quick, like I am usually too quick. You can see there's some icing on here. So I'm gonna try to move it. Oops. But some of it is going to stick. You have to use another tool, not this.
This technique might be cute on a clothes cookies, you know, like a t-shirt or a bathing suit type design.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I do have a couple more, but those are just kind of just different. I'll show you what I've got here. So I really like this one, I have to say. I like the blue with the gold.
That one's pretty, yes.
Yes. So I like those. I did some texture on here, and if you can see the texture is showing here. It's a bit different.
I guess if you had glitter, you know, the edible glitter.
Oh yeah, that's true. You could, well, you have to be aiming very, very well. Now well, yes, you could use that. Yes, exactly. You could use that with this, but when you
because only this is wet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, because only that is wet, so you could use that. I also like this one because I use the feathering and I use two different colors. You can see, I think the simple ones are really, really nice. Now this was white. Different.
So what would happen? Kim is asking if you would take the parchment paper off while it's still wet.
Well, what happens? The parchment is going to pull the icing with the strip, and it will be basically ruined. It has to dry fully, otherwise it won't work.
Yeah, you don't get a clean like lift. It's like the icing stays attached to the parchment paper.
It will be sometimes maybe you've seen when they do chocolate work, when they pour chocolate on, let's say, parchment, and then they put another plate or a flat tray, and then they lift it up. What happens? So it's pretty much the same thing. So you have to let that dry. So yeah, so this is my little messy project because you are stuck with all these strips here. So you have to throw those out.
So how long did you let this all dry, Han? Was it overnight?
Overnight, yeah. Yes, overnight. Oh, this
craft
one,
scissors.
this is just a craft store. I don't know. I really like. I remember I saw them where I had them when we moved, and today I was looking for them like a maniac. Like, oh, this is going to be great, and I don't like that design at all. But I have to say, it's pain to work with. Sally, I don't know if you want to put yourself through that.
Generally, though, I've seen those scissors available at the dollar store. You can sometimes get them. And
I do different patterns. I have like 5 or 6 ones with different patterns. This was a simple one, which I thought was going to work, but I'm not a big fan of it. So
no, she put it in wet icing, Elizabeth. The strips were laid down in wet icing.
Here, I still have some wet ones here. So this is still, you can see how shiny it is. So it's still wet.
Very cool.
This is not as shiny. The gold is still taking its time to dry, so that will take some time. So if you wanted to do 2 coats, I would recommend that you wait. What you could do, you could just do like I did leopard. You could do lines on all of them, and maybe just keep one empty and color that gold. That way, you will have nice patterns. Just to give you an idea.
So if you guys try this, tag Han. She likes to see your creations. We both do, so absolutely. Scrapbooking section, yes, at Michael's for sure. Get your coupon. You could probably get them on a discount.
Yes.
Yeah, that would for sure be great for that. So again, let me just mention, I have the code here on one of the posts. Is it?
So it's the Global
Belly. Here it is. So Global Belly is still having their sale. So there's the discount code, 28% off, St. Patty's 20. And Han she posted an Easter.
Yes, Easter. This is a buttercream kit. So for those of you this is a very quick cookie decorating, and it's really fun and very, very tasty. And buttercream, it's softer than royal icing. So last minute project, definitely you can go with this.
But they have other kits too. If you want to check out, like there's other holidays coming up. Mother's Day's coming up. There's a few other holidays. It's a fun activity, you know. The kids will be home soon, so if you've got them home for a couple of days, Easter break and stuff, you want to keep them busy. And then on the 25th, Han will be heading up. We'll be on together, but she'll be kind of leading the mini class here.
So we'll be making a birdhouse, essentially. You can find all the details in our paid groups, in my Patreon group, and Marlene also released it in her Patreon and in your
on Facebook. So I just wanted to mention, if you're just arriving to the live stream, you can watch the replay. It's available on Facebook and YouTube. On Friday, Han made these cookies. It's really pretty, again, also for Easter, and you want to check it out. So she's presented the whole hour. So this is our new schedule. So we're alternating days and weeks.
I'm off next week. Yes.
Well, a little birdie told me
Friday it'll be fun.
Yeah, you earned your day off, and then we'll be also for next week. I'm finalizing the April calendar, so I'll share the April calendar, and when Amber will be back joining us on a more consistent,
more frequently.
Yes,
by the end of the April, we think. Also, guys, if you are new to our platforms and have no idea, because we get this question a lot, where to look for the past lives, just if you go to Mars or my Instagram and you click on a link in our bio and you scroll down, there is a direct link to both playlists. If you are not on Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube. Or, if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook. And there is a direct link that will take you to the playlist with all the lives we did over the past. We started 2 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, so there's a lot to watch. If you do watch the first ones, please be kind.
So yeah, Elizabeth's asking. So when you lift it up, this underneath the strip is.
It does leave. Well, it's a good question. I don't know if you can. Oops, let me bring this up. It does leave a little bit of a texture. Do you see it? You can see it. Can you?
Yeah, but it's not. It's like if you had a ribbon there, kind of.
Yes, I do like that. I mean, you could really do so many different things. You could just lay them across and do different things. Just have a little, fun with it. Oh, my pleasure, Kim. I'm working on a detailed tutorial for the blog for the lilies, so you guys can use picture tutorials if you prefer those.
I guess you could do bricks, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like those designs. My apologies. I can't please everyone.
Yes, I know. It is annoying, Rose. All I can suggest is to have a paper towel handy and wipe. There's not much. Those bottles are pretty kind of cheap, I want to say. I guess they don't, you know what I mean? It's packaging, so it's not top notch. I agree, it is annoying.
Yes, it's a matte. It's a bit. Yes, exactly. It's a bit matte finish. Yes, that's a good eye, Heather. The on the strips.
Yes.
You lift the parchment. It's not as satin-like like the rest of the icing around it.
No, you mean what we'll be making on each day? We'd have to be a little bit more organized than we are to tell you what we're doing tomorrow. So no, we don't have.
In a month?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, you are so pixelated.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So, hi, Gwen. Thank you. Thank you very much. So that was fun. Thanks, Han, for your creativity.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Sticking through. Watching.
Ali loved it. Cynthia.
Is it possible?
I think like it not for you'd have to pipe it to get it right. You'd have to pipe it to get it up.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's no right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. What you could also use this technique for, I think it will be fun if you want to make maybe some personalized cookies. Just use like a white parchment and maybe stick it across and then peel it off, and then you can you have like slight like dent there, and you write your name or a recipient's name or something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, guys. So
Thank you, everybody.
we'll see you on Friday. Mar is going to decorate. I can't wait.
Yeah, Friday's a big day. So
Yes.
hopefully you'll join us.
Okay. Have a
All
great
right. Bye,
week,
everybody.
guys.